I found out my husband had a second wife because the police called us both to the same car accident, and we showed up to the ER with the same last name. My name is Laura, I'm 31. My husband's name is Tom, he's 33. Or, I guess I should say, the man I thought was my husband is 33. We've been together 8 years, married for almost 5. We rent a small townhouse, have a dog, share a Netflix account, and a stupid little chalkboard in the kitchen where we write each other notes. He works on the road. That's what he always called it. My job's weird, babe? I'd support, but for remote sites. Sometimes they ship me to different states for a week or 2 at a time. I hate it, but it pays. So our whole relationship, his schedule was home for a week, gone for a week. Sometimes 10 days home, 10 days gone. It varied. I got used to it. We had a system. When he was home, we did date nights, Costco runs, family stuff. When he was gone, we FaceTimed, texted, sent each other memes. Everyone told me, "You're so chill, I could never let my man travel that much." I'd laugh. "Well, I'm not his prison warden. I trust him." "Yeah, I know, I hear it now." There were red flags. I just painted them beige. He didn't really add me to any work group chats. I never met his coworkers. He wasn't big on posting us on social media. I hate that stuff, babe. It's cringe. When he traveled, he'd send me pics. Hotel breakfast, his laptop on a desk, a blurry airport shot, his shoes on some generic carpet. Once or twice a week, he'd do a goodnight video call. Sometimes his camera wasn't working or he was too tired. There were a few times I joked, "You sure you don't have a second family in another state?" He always laughed a little too loud and said, "Trust me, one wife is way more than enough." I believed him. Because what's the alternative? Living paranoid 24/7? We talked about kids. I wanted them. Not immediately, but in the next couple years. He always said, Yeah, we'll get there. I just want to stabilize work first, make sure we're settled." Reasonable, logical. I let it go. The day everything blew up was a Wednesday. I remember because I was pissed about a dumb work meeting that could have been an email. Tom was on a job in another state. He'd left 3 days earlier. My phone rang from an unknown number while I was in the kitchen. "Hello? Is this Laura Mason?" "Yes?" The woman on the line had that calm, flat, I talk about emergencies for a living tone. "Ma'am, I'm calling from Highway Patrol County Hospital. Your husband, Thomas Mason, has been in a car accident. He's stable, but we need you to come in if you can. He listed you as an emergency contact." My knees literally went weak. It felt like my brain left my body for a second. Is he okay? What happened? Where are you?" She gave me the name of the hospital. My brain glitched. "I'm sorry, that's in Oak Ridge." "Tom is in Oak Ridge?" "Yes, ma'am. That's where the accident occurred." Oak Ridge is not the next state over. It is another state entirely, 5 hours away. I knew he was traveling, but he told me he was in Denver. I hung up, grabbed my keys, and did the dumb movie thing where you put on shoes you can't drive in, then rip them off in the car. I barely remember the drive. Just white lines, my heartbeat in my ears, and my GPS yelling at me to slow down. Somewhere in the middle of all that, the same number called again. "Mrs. Mason?" "Yes?" "Hi again. Just letting you know his other wife is already here." Silence. "I'm sorry, his what?" "His wife. She checked in as Mrs. Mason as well. I just wanted to clarify if there's any..." I don't even remember what I said. I think I just hung up and screamed in the car until I saw spots. The ER waiting room had that horrible fluorescent buzz, the smell of hand sanitizer and bad coffee. I walked up to the desk, hands shaking. "I'm here for Thomas Mason. I'm his wife." The nurse gave me that look like She'd already lived this scene once today. "Can you take a seat for a moment?" I sat. My leg wouldn't stop bouncing. My brain was doing math it shouldn't have to do. Other wife? Maybe they meant ex-wife? Maybe it's some paperwork mix-up. Maybe it's his mother, maybe... "Laura!" I looked up. There was a woman standing a few feet away, holding a hospital coffee cup like a weapon. She was about my age. Dark hair and a messy bun, tired eyes, oversized hoodie, leggings. She looks like someone who'd been crying hard and trying not to show it. "I'm Laura," I said slowly. "Who are you?" She swallowed. "My name is Mia. I'm Tom's wife." We just stared at each other. Same last name on her hospital bracelet. Same name on the whiteboard behind the nurse. Mason Thomas, room 214, family, wife, Hawis. I started laughing. I couldn't help it. It was that horrible broken laugh that sounds like sobbing. "No, you're not," I said. "I'm his wife." She pulled something out of her bag and slapped it down on the empty chair between us. A photo, Tom and Mia, at what looked like a backyard wedding. She's in a white dress, he's in a suit I've never seen, kissing her cheek while she laughs. My stomach dropped into my shoes. "We got married 3 years ago," Mia said, voice shaking. "Who the hell are you?" We spent the next 10 minutes going back and forth like two people in a glitchy video game. "When did you meet him? Where do you live? How often is he home? What name does he use? Who does he say I am?" Every answer was a punch. He told Mia I was his sister, that I was going through some stuff and needed a place to stay sometimes. That's why she saw my name pop up here and there. He told her my dog was the family dog we were sharing after our parents passed. He told her he traveled because his company had 2 offices and he had to split time. He told her he was an only child. I pulled up photos on my phone. Our wedding, our apartment, our holidays. She pulled up hers, their house, their anniversary, him holding her hand at some Christmas market. He has a slightly different beard and some different hairstyle, a bit more weight on him, but it's the same man. Same dumb smile, same stupid dimple, same tattoo on his wrists that I watched him get for our wedding date. Mia's voice broke. "We have a 4-year-old, she whispered. "He's in the kids' room right now with my sister. Tom said he didn't want to stress you with a kid around when you're recovering from your divorce." I stared at her. "He told me he wasn't ready for kids," I said. "That he wanted to wait until work settled down. We've been trying to conceive for the last 6 months and he kept saying, maybe it's not the right time?" I thought I was going to throw up, so here's twist number 1. My husband didn't just have a second wife. He had a whole-ass family, a wife, a kid, apparently a house, and 2 completely different stories about who I was. Crazy ex to her, legal wife to me. The nurse eventually told us we could see him one at a time. We looked at each other. "You go," Mia said. "I already yelled at him. I need a second." I walked down that hallway feeling like I was floating. Every beep, every monitor sound felt like a drum in my skull. He was in the bed, banged up but alive. Arm in a sling, some bandages, couple bruises. He looked up, saw me, and his face went through every possible color. "Laura, what are you doing here?" "Funny," I said. "That's my question." He opened his mouth, closed it, tried again. "I can explain." Every lying man's favorite sentence. "You have about 5 seconds before I unplug your oxygen just out of spite," I said. "Start talking." He tried to go with the confused and overwhelmed route first. "It's complicated." "No shit. I didn't want to hurt you." "You married 2 women. I feel like we passed hurt a while ago." I asked him straight. "How long have you been married to her?" He hesitated. 3 years. "And me?" 4.5. So I was first. She was second. That should have made me feel better. It didn't. It just made me feel older, more worn out, like Model 1.0 that he upgraded from. So what was the plan? I asked. Just bounce back and forth forever? Die in a mysterious work accident so we never meet? He rubbed his face with his good hand. I didn't plan it like this, it just happened. I love you, and I love her, and I actually laughed. You don't accidentally get married twice, I said. You fill out paperwork. You buy rings. You say vows. What, did you trip and fall into a second wedding? He started crying then. Actual tears. I used to melt when he cried. It used to make me want to hug him. This time I felt nothing. Just tired. Please, I need time to explain, he said. We can talk when I'm out. Just don't do anything crazy. Crazy? Like what? Tell the cops? Tell our families? Tell his other wife? Buddy, we are so far past crazy. After I left his room, Mia went in. I sat in the hallway staring at the floor tiles. Their kid toddled past with Mia's sister holding a juice box, too young to understand any of this. He had Tom's eyes. That knocked the air out of me more than anything else. A little while later, Mia came out of the room shaking. He said he loves us both, she said flatly, like we're just two hobbies he's trying to juggle. We ended up sitting in the hospital cafeteria for hours going through timelines, texts, bank records, and here's twist number 2. It wasn't just emotional and logistical betrayal. It was financial, too. He'd taken out loans in my name. We pulled up my credit report right there on my phone, and I nearly passed out. There was a car lease for a vehicle I'd never seen, registered to an address in Oak Ridge. There were 2 credit cards I didn't recognize, maxed out, with statements going to a P.O. box. Mia looked at the car info and went pale. That's my SUV, she said quietly. He said his credit was trashed from his first marriage. He told me he had to put everything in my name. So he used my SSN and stable job to qualify, then told her he was the one with bad credit. Nice? He also had a mortgage application started in a state I don't live in. He'd put down my employer, her income, his name. It hadn't gone through yet, thank God. But he was gearing up to lock us both in, now he's even deeper. Twist number 3 slapped me in the face a week later, after lawyers got involved, after I'd moved out to crash on my cousin's couch, after I'd had multiple panic attacks and cried until my skin hurt. My attorney called and said, "So, I have some news. You might want to sit down." Never a great opener. "What now?" I asked. "Is he married to a third woman?" "Not that we know of," my lawyer said. "But legally, you and Tom are not actually married." Silence. "I'm sorry, what?" "Your marriage license was never filed with the county. You had a ceremony, sure, but there's no record. The officiant you used lost their authorization a month before your wedding. The paperwork was invalid. So as far as the state is concerned, you two were never legally married." I just started laughing. Like, full-on hysterical laughing. Of course. Of course the man who accidentally on purpose became a bigamist also accidentally on purpose only filed the second marriage. So legally, Mia is his wife. I am, what? A very committed roommate? It changed the math on a lot of things. Property, debt, what I could claim to get in court. But emotionally, it was like he'd erased me with a pen stroke. 8 years together, 5 years saying, my husband, my wife, and legally I was just girlfriend level. He'd gotten the benefits of a wife. My income, my emotional labor, my stability, my family, my cooking, my everything, without ever technically giving me the legal protection of being one. I remember saying to my lawyer, "So I got all the pain of a divorce and none of the rights?" She just gave me that sad professional look like, "Yeah, basically." Mia and I text now. We didn't become instant best friends or anything. This isn't some girl power movie. But we're weirdly allied. We had a FaceTime call where she showed me their house, toys everywhere, photos on the wall of Tom with their kid at the park, Christmas morning, birthdays. We compared notes on what he'd said about us to each other. He told her I was crazy, obsessed with him, couldn't let go, that he was just helping family. He told me she was a single mom he was helping out, someone from his church who needed support. When his trips started to get longer, he said his company was short-staffed. He played both sides, painting each of us as burdens, while he got to be the hero in both stories. It's like he built two separate movies and cast himself as the star in both. Twist number 4 came from a place I wasn't expecting, his own mother. She called me out of nowhere. "Laura, honey, please, can we talk?" I didn't want to, but curiosity won. She ended up telling me that Tom had done some version of this before. Not this extreme, but bad enough. In college, he'd dated 2 girls at once for over a year. They only found out when they showed up at the same party. His mom brushed it off back then as young and stupid. She said, "I thought he grew out of it. I thought getting married would settle him down." I said, "He didn't grow out of it. He just got better at logistics." She started crying, apologizing for how she raised him, for ignoring signs. It didn't fix anything, but it confirmed what I already knew. This wasn't an accident. This is who he is. Y questo naki right now, here's where things stand. Mia is filing for legal separation/divorce. I'm pursuing charges for identity theft/fraud for the loans in my name. He's couch surfing with some friend, trying to message us both about family counseling and forgiveness. He sent me paragraphs like, "We can fix this. I never meant to hurt you. I was scared of losing either of you. You both mean so much to me." As if the worst thing in this story is his fear of being lonely. I'm in therapy trying to untangle 8 years of memories and figure out which ones are real and which ones were staged. Mia's in therapy too, trying to figure out how to co-parent with a man who has 3 lives and 1 brain cell. There are days I miss him. I hate admitting that, but it's true. You don't just switch off 8 years overnight. Then I remember standing in that hospital hallway, staring at a woman with my last name and a child with my husband's face, and I feel my whole body go cold again. So if you've listened this far, I really want to know, if you found out your business trip husband had a whole second wife, a kid, and a house in another state, and that legally you weren't even married to him, what would you do? Would you try to forgive and blend the families like some people keep suggesting to us? Or would you walk away completely, even if it means accepting that the life you thought you'd been building for almost a decade wasn't real in the way you believed it was? Because right now, I'm a 31-year-old woman sleeping in my cousin's spare room, sharing a dog with someone I was never legally married to, and trying to figure out how to rebuild a life from scratch when the person you trusted the most turned out to be running 2 separate versions of reality, and you were just one of his favorite side quests.